Hi, everyone. It's Miss Bruin back again to investigate the transfer of information with you. So, we know that people can use light and sound to cause wave patterns. We can then use these waves to send messages or communicate information. Our goal today is to design and test our own code based on patterns. Now, they can be light patterns or sound patterns. Then we'll try to transfer it across a distance using some kind of signaling device. Now, because this week's lesson is all about you designing your own code and transmitting it through a signal, I thought it might be helpful if I show you my process for creating my own code. Now, the design process is always easier if we push ourselves to think like an engineer. So, during the planning stage, I want to remind you of the three-step process. I also think better when I can talk my ideas out with a partner, so I roped my husband into working on this with me. You're going to meet him later on in this video. Now, initially we thought, wow, how cool would it be to create a code that could signal to astronauts up in space? But then we started to ask questions that engineers always ask when they're designing anything, like who will use it to help us figure out the purpose? Or what will it cost? Do we even know how to build a signaling device that would reach space? It sounds really expensive. So, asking questions about the purpose, the criteria, and the constraints actually helped us come up with an idea that would be more useful for us, that would be more purposeful for us. So, a lot of times, what you design should work to make things better in some way. And in our house, we have a lot of chores that don't get done, like doing the dishes, making the beds, cleaning your laundry. And there's a lot of nagging that goes on in our house. Like, one of us will tell our children, like, can you remember to unload the dishwasher? Or can you set the table? Or there's a lot of nags going back and forth all day long, and we all hate it. Like, I think I hate being the one to nag, and my kids hate being the ones getting nagged and having to hear it. So we decided that we would come up with a house chore code, and we would be able to use some kind of light code that used light waves to communicate about what house chores need to get done without annoying the other person. I'm not sure if it's gonna work, but I can't wait to test it out. We started by creating a key. So that's what you're gonna wanna do. And if you're working with a partner, you're gonna wanna create a key together. So my husband and I sat down together, and we decided to make it a two-part key or a two-part code. And we thought about using different materials, using different kinds of symbols or signals. And we found this flashlight that is actually able to light up in three different ways. So there's like a red laser light, and then there's a big bright green light, and a big bright whitish yellow light. And so we decided to make a code so that one laser dot would represent the day of the week, and using the white or the yellow in different shapes would represent the type of chore that had to get done. And instead of nagging out loud, you could just shine the signal so that someone else in the family knew, "Oh, on Tuesday, I definitely have to load the dishwasher," or "I have to remember to make my bed today." So I'm hoping that our house code will take all the nasty nagging tone out of the way we communicate and remind each other about the different responsibilities or chores that we have to do in our house. Once you guys have created the key, you're going to need to share it with anybody who you want to communicate with. Scientists, once you've developed your own code, you need to make sure to record it in the slideshow or on a piece of paper or in a science notebook so that you can upload it and share it with your partner or with the people who you're trying to communicate with. So far during our design process, I found a partner. We'd created a key together, shared that key, and now we're going to try sending a message back and forth. When you go to do this, I want you to try sending a message and also try receiving a message. That way you can figure out whether there are any problems or issues, and you may have to change or adapt your code. So here I am with my partner. You're not going to be able to see me, but you will see him testing it out. Can you see the light signals? Definitely caught his eye. And there he goes. After seeing that green lightning bolt, he knew exactly what to do. So our code actually worked, but there were a few problems that we have to figure out. We do have to make some changes because I couldn't be very far away in order to send him those light signals. I was probably like 6 or 7 feet away from him, which means we have to figure out how to get our light to transfer, our signaling device to transfer across a farther distance if we can. So we're going to keep thinking about that. But when you go to use yours, make sure you try sending a message using your code and also switch roles and try receiving a message. Throughout all of these trials, when you're testing out your code, make sure that you're recording what you're finding and recording all the results in your slideshow or on a piece of paper or in your science notebook. Well, fourth graders, I hope that you enjoy investigating the transfer of information as you test out your code. Make sure that you don't skip a step and make sure that you make some changes if you find that there was a problem with your code. You're going to end this lesson by thinking about the advantages and the disadvantages that come with sending a message using light waves or patterns of light or patterns of sound, if that's what you chose to use, in order to create a code. You might think up something even better, like using light or sound to remind your neighbors to smile as they walk by, or a code that could allow you to hang out with your friends and communicate even though you haven't gotten to see them in a while, maybe somebody who lives across the street. I can't wait to hear what you create. Have fun, and I'll see you next time.